Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey with investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at MMTLP and some important questions for George Palikaras. We're also going to be looking at a review of the weekly watch list, and we're going to start by having a look at news of a ban on short selling in South Korea. So first of all, shout out here to Unusual Wales and in terms of the post regarding Senator Thomas Carper, and what I posted here is that South Korea has finally seen sense and banned short selling till June 2024, and this, one of the reasons for this is because of the consequential problem of naked short selling. So one of the problems for Senator Thomas Carper is that he will no longer be able to be the most successful investor in Congress, and because what he likes to do is make money by shorting the US economy. So that's also something that was shared by Unusual Wales. So let's now move on to have a look at the article. So in Yahoo Finance, 5th of November 2023, we can see headline: South Korea to ban short selling of stocks until June 2024. So let's have a look at the finer details. So they're going to prohibit short selling to allow regulators to actively improve the rules and systems. And what's happened here, we can see amidst the market turmoil, they have discovered massive illegal naked short selling by global investment banks and circumstances of additional illegal activities. So it looks like it's not only happening in US markets, it's happening worldwide. And we can see here in terms of the ban will further jeopardize, obviously this is a counter argument, the ban will further jeopardize South Korea's chances of moving from an emerging market to a developed market. So this is a counter argument, and they are saying here, expect bubbles to form in the pockets of the market that are favored by retail investors, as short selling no longer acts as a brake on absurd valuations. So the counter argument is the stocks will go too high, the valuation of a company will not be reflective of its true valuation. So what they are basically saying, you should still continue to allow companies to be shorted to death, you know, from hundreds of dollars, tens of dollars into the cents, and sometimes below 10, 5, 4 cents. They believe that is better. And finally, from an investor's point of view, we can see what investors have been saying is that short selling leads to an unfair advantage for foreign and institutional investors. This is true, but I also think it gives much bigger advantage to the hedge funds, the banks and the market makers. So before we look at the questions for George Palikaras, shout out here to John Boyne, who's responded to the previous video and the comment with regard to comparing MMTLP with Dole Foods. And we know what happened with Dole Foods. There was a share imbalance and there was also a settlement. But what John is saying here is the judge ordered the payback of the share price at the price of $2.74 plus 3 years interest, and there was nothing added for the crime. So when you hear that lawyers would start at $2.12, nobody would be saying anything with regard to comparison. So there was no RICO in this case. And what we can also see is obviously what I have agreed with is that in terms of the MMTLP fiasco and story, our losses are much higher. So obviously the Dole Foods situation is not comparable in terms of the bigger impact on investors. So obviously once we get some kind of settlement for MMTLP, I think the payments should certainly be much higher. Let's now have a look at some important questions for George Palikaras with regard to MMTLP. We're going to be focusing on the corporate action and the U3 Halt. So shout out here to Sensi, who stated, Mr. Palikaras, can you take a minute to clarify why you thanked FINRA? So this post there, obviously shared by George Palikaras on the 6th of December 2022. Quite simply, and George has stated, thank you FINRA. So we thanked them on the 6th of December 2022, and he's thanked them for posting the MMTLP corporate action, but this was actually something that was deficient and not what the company had originally suggested on the 30th of November 2022. So what was the reason for thanking FINRA? So were you thanking him because they finally posted something, or did you agree to the change in wording? So obviously George Palikaras is no longer part of Metamaterials. This is now history. So in terms of George potentially giving a response, he probably may not give a response, but he's more than welcome to maybe give a response behind the scenes, or maybe just tagging into this thread. And what he stated here, Sensi, is sounds like George was being facetious since FINRA took their time to post the MMTLP corporate action, which we know was under investigation from November the 29th to December the 5th. So what George has also stated there in terms of the dates that we all know about, this is in the original, obviously, post here, which was 30th November 2022, and he stated, Meta requested that FINRA halt MMTLP on December the 14th at close current distribution date, or to freeze trading on December the 12th at close current record date. Please take the time to read the S1. Everybody did read the S1. We were quite very clear on that. You shared the dates, and he also stated no public trading after the distribution date, but we know that that did not happen, and there is no ex-dividend date because obviously there was no payment. So obviously, and we also know that everything went wrong. So the question here from Sensi, another question in terms of the rights and the power that Metamaterials, or should we say George Palikaras, had, is here. Let's have a look. So we've got 424B, and that shows in blue at the bottom. We're going to have a look at that. The Meta has the right not to complete the spin-off at any time. The Meta board of directors determines in its sole and absolute discretion that the spin-off is not in the best interest of Meta or the stockholders, or is otherwise not advisable. So at the bottom here in the blue, we can see here, Meta has the right not to complete the spin-off if at any time the Meta board of directors determines in its sole and absolute discretion. So no need for the SEC or no need for the FINRA to approve this. That the spin-off is not in the best interest of Meta or the stockholders, or is otherwise not advisable. So the question is, George Palikaras, you have retail putting all this time and energy into contacting Congress right now. We are fighting, we are attending meetings, we are struggling, people have lost money, and all you had to do was stop the spin out because it lacked a few words. So FINRA obviously is not off the hook, but it would be great if we can get a response in terms of why, if you had the power, it was not stopped. So shout out to John Berder, who stated, after the halt, I asked Meta to do just that. So strong words from John. And he states here, I understand the board voted to go through with it anyway. So whether or not this vote included George Palikaras or it was the others overruling George Palikaras, we don't know. But what we do know is that John has obviously made this decision in the interest of the MMTLP investors and the interest of justice, but it was overruled because obviously John was not an insider. John was not part of Meta, so he did not have that power. So another question here, did the SEC or FINRA ombudsman hear about and react to the news that FINRA strong-armed the MMTLP corporate action, or any other feedback? And we feel that Congress could use this in terms of leverage. So what Smokey has chipped in by saying here is, looking back, I think it was him more yelling at them, because he doesn't usually use all capitals, which denotes anger. So fair enough, he may be yelling, but I think the important question is, if he had the power to stop everything, why did he not do that, especially if it was deficient, and especially if we knew basically once we had the U3 halt, then everybody's money was trapped, and it could have still been obviously action taken by the board. So what Sensi has also stated here is at the bottom, it doesn't, if it doesn't answer, if you read the corporate action he posted, it's deficient, missing T+2, and was halted later, which is what FINRA stated in terms of uncertainty in the settlement process. That's what FINRA stated. So based on Burda's response, they knew it wasn't the corporate action they wrote, but did they catch the settlement error? So again, that's actually a question for the board, because obviously that's what FINRA are using as justification. And then finally, to finish off, a question from Sensi here: when do we think George Palikaras and Meta submitted the MMTLP spin-out paperwork to FINRA? Was that around about November the 23rd? What John stated, actually in July, with the first filing of the registration statement, they knew for 5 months and they did nothing. They asked way more questions to Meta to stop trading than ever did to the market makers to get MMTLP to trade, in his opinion, but I think also in the opinion of everybody holding MMTLP as well. What John has also stated is FINRA doesn't revise S1s, however, their list of questions was lengthy. Details, Meta attorneys responded in quick fashion, answered all the questions within weeks, if not months ahead of time. FINRA did not ask to speak to the SEC examiner that was reviewing the case brought. So basically, finally, to finish off, if it was not the wording Meta wanted, then why did everything go through in terms of the spin-off, and why not the pause? So the pause, obviously in hindsight now, it seems to be that would have been the best decision, but it didn't happen. I finally like to finish off by having a quick review of last week's weekly watch list. This was shared exclusively with the Discord members prior to trading on the Monday, so we called out ticker symbol IBRX. That was the best call of the week, and that was up 46.5% on the week, so congratulations to everybody who got in IBRX. We also called out ZYXI, up 10% on the week with good news. CHRS, I'm sure you know, was covered in a number of videos, and that was up 19.6% on the week, and also a good, strong finish on the Friday. Dexcom, DXCM, we knew there was good news coming up there, and that was up 8.4% on the week. ANET, another good call, that was up 20.2% on the week. SoFi, we know there was earnings, and that was up 5.4% on the week. And we believe PayPal was at a good price. That was up 10.1% on the week. ALGS up 5% on the week. ICU, a high-risk stock, more volatile. It trended down Monday to Wednesday, then went up over 22%, but down 30% overall on the week. So obviously high-risk stock, always good to protect your profits. TPET, again on the Monday, up 28%, giving a good chance to take profits. However, there was a strong sell-off, down 20.8% on the week. And also we called out LLY, that was up 6% in the run-up to earnings and down 0.9% on the week, so not all calls are successful. Finally, if you would like to get the next weekly watch list, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.